with ZipRecruiter.
Shots were fired at a Tesla dealership in Tigard, Oregon. This incident following reports of arson and another shooting at a Salem Tesla dealership earlier this year. Tigard Police Public Information Officer Kelsey Anderson.
Three cars were damaged, some windows were shattered, and at least one of those shots went through an office wall and into a monitor in an office space.
Yesterday, protests took place outside the Tigard dealership against owner Elon Musk's involvement in the Trump administration. The White House says it will pull nearly $400 million in federal aid from Columbia University for its failure to protect Jewish students from anti-Israel protesters. ABC's Stephen Portnoy.
The Trump administration says this $400 million round of grant and contract cancellations is just the start, and that there's more to come. Education Secretary Linda McMahon says Columbia University has, quote, abandoned its obligation to protect Jewish students from violence, intimidation, and anti-Semitic harassment on campus. The school says it's aiming to work with the government to restore the funding and that Columbia is committed to combating anti-Semitism and ensuring the safety and well-being of students, faculty, and staff.
The U.S. military's classified mini space shuttle has returned to Earth after circling the world for more than 14 months. The uncrewed X-37B space plane carried military experiments. Details of the mission are classified, but Space Force officials say it demonstrated its abilities. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
Give the star in your life the brightest gift in the world. Name a star after them. This is Rocky Moselle with International Star Registry. For $59 and a call to 800-282-3333 or visit starregistry.com, you can name a star for birthdays, weddings, or even memorials. Over 45 years, we have named millions of stars for celebrities and individuals from around the world. The star you name will be recorded in book form in the U.S. Copyright Office. Visit starregistry.com or call 800-282-3333.
News Talk 610 AM and 102.1 FM. KVNU.
5:05 now on this Friday afternoon. I'm Will Feelright with your KVNU News Update as we've been enjoying some sunshine this afternoon. And of course, with daylight savings time kicking in this weekend, that means we're going to enjoy some later sunny weather as we head into the spring and summer. Of course, that also means, though, we're going to lose an hour of sleep Saturday night into Sunday morning. So keep that in mind. Well, our top story this morning, high home prices and interest rates in Utah's real estate market are expected to remain in 2025, and that's leaving potential home buyers with some difficult decisions. Now, many first-time home buyers are facing interest rates above 6%, while the median price of a single-family home in Utah is now at $564,000. Now, despite those challenges, local real estate professionals are advising against waiting for market conditions to improve in order to pursue home ownership. For the first time in Utah right now, the sale price of existing houses is actually higher than that of newly built homes. Now, as affordability remains an issue, builders are constructing what buyers can afford, and most of those are townhomes and condos. Many builders are also offering more incentives and financial assistance to buyers. Well, one of President Donald Trump's first actions in office was to rescind a Biden-era rule barring immigration and custom enforcement agents from making arrests near sensitive locations, which includes churches, colleges, and universities. And now higher education leaders in Utah and elsewhere are navigating the fallout. Now, president of the American Federation of Teachers, Randy Warrington, says that campuses are seeing a chilling effect due to hostilities toward international community members.
Higher education should be the bastion of free ideas and academic freedom, because how do you create new things? How do you innovate? How do you imagine if you don't actually create academic freedom?
Now, an institution's approach to doing so may change now that ICE is allowed on campuses. The National Immigration Law Center's Tanya Broder points out that immigration agents can only legally enter public and not private areas of campuses without a warrant.
It's very helpful to plan in advance when you can, to have a real procedure for when people are showing up and trying to enter someplace where you have a reasonable expectation of privacy.
Now, Trump has made cracking down on illegal immigration a touchstone of his new administration. And it's quite a story, as St. John's First Episcopal Church in Logan has a newly renovated organ console that one time graced the New York Philharmonic Hall. Now, the organ was played there from 1962 until 1976, but how the prized organ eventually landed in Utah at the 100-year-old plus church is quite a journey. Turns out that after New York, the organ console had went to the Robert Schuller Crystal Cathedral in California for a time. It eventually was purchased by Hal Stoddard of Hooper. Now, he had the organ for several years until he passed away in January of last year, and at that point, his family wished to sell the organ console. Now, Jonathan Rose, the music director and organist for St. John's, heard about the organ being sold, and he reached out to Father Jason Samuel of St. John's Episcopal Church, asked if they could bring the console to the church. Now, Father Samuel gave his okay, and now the organ is in Logan. Pretty cool story. Sunny skies as we're going to continue through the rest of the evening with clear skies overnight tonight. Temperatures should be down into the high teens to low 20s, and then more sunny weather for Saturday and into Sunday as we're going to see temperatures right around the low 40s to start the weekend, high 40s to finish the weekend, and then low 50s for the first of next week. We do have another storm, though, that will be heading our way about middle of next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, bringing a chance of some storms. Well, Cardall's Insulation brings you news and weather here at the top of the hour. If you're looking for a more efficient and quiet home, check out the insulation in your home. It's Cardall's Insulation. They can give you a quote, 755-5012. And I'm Will Feelwright with your KVNU News Update. KVNU's For the People Show and the Movie Show coming up next.
If the cold temps lately have you turning up the thermostat, I've got a more efficient way to keep your home comfortable. Call Cardall's Insulation. That's right, insulation. Now, you're probably wondering, does insulation actually go bad? Well, if your home was built before 1980, you should really consider new insulation because today's insulation is so much better. Even a lot of newer homes don't have sufficient insulation. So if your home is cold, if you feel a draft, call 755-5012. Cardall's Insulation, 755-5012.
Covering all the news. Stay with 610 AM and 102.1 FM. News Talk KVNU.
Hey, business owners, when it comes to your commercial insurance coverage, you deserve the best. This is Matt Robbins with Quality First Insurance. As an independent auto owners agency, we have access to many carriers and will give you options. We work hard to protect your business because you've worked hard to build it. Let's give your insurance coverage a fresh look. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain. Call us today, 435-752-0101.
It's the Napa Gold Filter Cell, featuring up to 60% off filters for everything from your car, your backhoe, to your side-by-side. Get your machine fired up this season with Napa Premium Synthetic Oils, $3.99 a quart. Napa Synthetic Blend Motor Oils, $3.29 a quart. Seafoam Motor Tune-Up, $7.99 a can. The Gold Filter Cell, now through March 15 at your Preston to Providence Napa Auto Parts.
Napa know-how. Napa know-how.
Falling asleep at the wheel again, baby. You're drifting over the line, yeah. Your hands are tied, but you're losing grip quickly. Fix me, can you read the signs? You're thumbing your way to Vegas, dirty and dreaming of the other
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. Hour 2 of today's show. Time for this week's For the People movie show with Andy Morgan here in the studio. And it's post-Oscars, which means we actually, for the first time in a couple of weeks, have new movies in theaters. A lot of things hitting the streaming services and more. The one everyone's talking about is playing here in Logan. Robert Pattinson in Mickey 17, directed by famous or infamous, depending on how you feel about his films, director Bong Joon-ho. And Andy, what do you think about the Oscars? Is that where you want to start? Or do you want to just get that out of the way quick? Or
yeah, let's talk about the Oscars for a minute.
Were you surprised? Or
there was a few surprises to me, I'll be honest with you. Every year I have three kind of categories when I look at them. There's what I think will win, right? What I'm predicting will win. There's what I want to win. And then there's what, like I'd say dark horses, things that at the end I'm like, well. And I'll tell you what, here's a little pro tip from Movie Boy. Here's a little pro tip. If you want to win your Oscar party, if you do that, we do it every year. It's just in our family. It's not like we have like 50 people over. And, you know, and I'll be honest with you, like, not to, this isn't me like brushing my nails and like, ha ha ha. But I actually win so often that my daughter always is like, you cheat. And I'm like, how would I cheat? And she's like, you go.
That's
and
a good question.
She's like, you go and look at different websites and you take their predictions. I'm like, that's not cheating. Like
that's not cheating. That's research.
It doesn't even matter if that's what I did or not. The
I
point
do that
is
in politics. When people ask me who's going to win a race, I say, I go look at 538 and a bunch of others, and I say, well, I would say this is the most likely outcome.
You're like, you cheated. Yeah.
That's not cheating. That's research.
Someone came from the future. Marty McFly came and told me with Biff's Sportsbook. No, so this is kind of the way I felt. So first off, I thought Conan was a great host.
He was toned down this year compared to last time.
I tell you what, I know a lot of people like this. I didn't love it. My only thing I didn't love with Conan the Barbarian with Conan was I didn't love the I won't waste time thing. I know it's like everyone thought that was a little funny. I thought it was I just thought it was dumb. I don't understand. There's some things that I would do to change. And let me actually talk about that before I talk about some of the winners.
The whole Oscars.
Yeah, a couple things. You know, if you want to bring people in, I think the Oscars have to be what the Oscars are, right? It's a Sunday night thing on ABC for people who love movies, right?
Yeah, that's a good way.
Most people that tune in haven't even seen the movies. So, pro tip: when you're saying, here's the, here are the nominations for Best Supporting Actor, and then you show them and you announce them. Show a 10-second clip of them acting in the movie of one of the strong parts. Like, there's not enough media happening during the telecast. They play the scores, they play the original songs. So I want, if you want somebody to be interested in the movies that are now getting awards, show a clip of.
I see what you're saying.
Show a clip of Timothy Chalamet acting in A Complete Unknown as Bob Dylan. Show Coleman Domingo.
That's a really good point.
They used to do it. It was a thing. And then they got into this thing now where they're like, let's bring back the old award winners and have them talk. That's dumb.
I would actually rather see a clip of what they're nominated for.
That's what we used to do in like the 90s, early 2000s. Like, show us a clip of one of their strong performances. Show us, right?
Yeah, why is this person nominated?
Yeah, that's
recognizing that it's televised for people that maybe didn't see all of this.
Yes, and what happens is, and I've seen this happen in times past, is somebody watches a clip and they go, "Oh, I kind of want to see that."
Yeah,
that's what you get. And so, bring people in.
Because I'm still waiting for that clip for the Bob Dylan movie. Because I could care less.
Yeah, the Bob Dylan, well, yeah, there's a whole meta thing we could talk about that. But I would say, I thought he balanced the roasting enough, kind of poking fun without being
like a jerk,
like uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to,
because it seemed kind of mean spirited that one year.
Sometimes Jimmy Kimmel could trend into,
I like the guy, and I love when he picks a fight with he and Trump arguing.
Yeah,
is one of the funniest things. But Jimmy Kimmel can seem kind of mean about it.
No, and I think that's
Conan's a lot nicer.
Yeah, he was more like, which I think one of everyone's favorite hosts, which there's a lot of people who weren't alive for this.
Yeah,
was Billy Crystal. Billy Crystal.
How many times did he do it?
It's over 10.
Like a decade at least,
yeah,
right?
I mean, it was kind of like when Johnny Carson did it or Bob Hope. Like, that's super old. But the same thing. They're making jokes.
Yeah.
But they're not, like, no one's going home saying, I want to murder Johnny Carson.
Crying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing I would say.
Get slapped like Chris Rock.
Is there needs to be part of this. The other thing too is like the in memoriam stuff. I think is great. I like it.
Yeah,
it's moving. I thought they did a good one this year. What bothers me, this James Bond tribute. No offense to Queen Latifah. I thought that was the Quincy Jones. Sorry. I thought some of the musical. It's kind of like the NBA slam dunk contest, right? Like, you bring out these up and coming artists, and I think it's fine. And I know someone out there's like, dude, that's rude. These people did just fine. But again, I want it to be a little bit more multimedia. I don't want to see people dancing around the stage. And I don't know what that is. Like, show me some clips, do a little history of it. Tell, I want to see Roger Moore and Sean Connery and Timothy Dalton. I want to see these people.
Yeah. And if you want to have the dancing and stuff like there for the in-person audience, still on top of that, great.
Yeah.
But have the screen running stuff for people at home because, I
also thought it would have been a good opportunity for them to announce the new James Bond. They missed a window there.
I was sort of surprised.
I thought they might pull a surprise there.
When they said they were doing that, I thought, we're going to find out tonight, aren't we? And I think that was a missed opportunity. That was.
I do. I think it was missed.
Adrian Brody's speech, though, my all-time favorite Oscars moment.
I hated when he threw the gum.
I didn't see that part. I actually missed that. But when he
told him to stop playing the music,
started. They're trying to walk him off because he's already gone on kind of at this point a bit.
It was uncomfortable.
Yeah, and then he says the music starts and he said, "Hey, stop the music! Not my first rodeo. I've been up here before."
Yeah,
and they did. Instead of cranking it up like they usually do, they stopped the music, and I laughed so hard. A jerk.
Honestly. I was.
Yeah, I don't think.
But that goes back farther too, right? Like the Amelia Perez original song people that were up there and singing.
Yeah,
I was like, shut up, dude. Here's my problem. They did that, and then one of their people didn't get to say something, and then the other guy, the German guy that got up and won the other awards and blabbed on, and then the other guy didn't say anything. So my thing is, I don't know how you do this. Clearly, these people have watched award movies, and I get that you get up in front of this massive audience. You're probably tongue-tied, Just get up and brief and to the point. You should be able to say something to the effect of, if I got up and won an Oscar, it's very easy to just get up and say, wow, thank you so much. Thank you to the Academy. I am so in awe of my fellow nominees. To be in the same category with you is just amazing. Just want to say thank you to my family who supports me every day as I do this. I'm thankful to all the people that create with me. I'm thankful to the people that represent me. Thankful for the studios, and just thank you. And why not say something like thank you for the people that go to movies and have love for cinema, something like that.
Yeah.
And then just say thanks and walk away. Everyone will be sitting there just saying, good job. This just blabbing on and telling stories just shut up.
Funny story or something no one knows about the film or about making the film, stuff like that. But then just take your award and
and obviously too, there's been situations when Matthew McConaughey did his whole, there's 3 people.
Yeah.
Myself in 10 years, myself. I mean, it's fine, but that's for a longer thing.
Yeah.
Even that to me was I get it, but it's he clearly had practiced that. Nobody's that well spoken. You can see it too. The ones that practice are the ones that just shoot right up and know exactly what to say. But yeah, there was some cringy moments. I thought overall it was a good one. I don't know where it ranks. It was almost 4 hours long. So, they pushed it. I will say, for me, surprise-wise, I thought Sean Baker winning for Best Directing was a surprise. I actually had Brady Corbett for The Brutalist. And then what was really interesting to me is a lot of times when someone wins Best Director, that's almost sometimes, not always, but sometimes it's almost like saying, hey, sorry, we're giving you this because we're not going to give you the Best Picture. And so I really thought that The Brutalist had a shot at Best Picture. I think it was too long, which is probably factored into it. So I actually was banking on Anora. So honestly, when Baker won for directing for Anora, I really truly thought Anora was out as Best Picture.
Yeah.
So I did get that right. I did not think Adrian Brody for The Brutalist was a surprise to me. I thought that was Timothée Chalamet's award to lose. I don't think that was necessarily he was the most deserving.
Yeah.
I would have, honestly, if I had to, put my what I wanted to win, Coleman Domingo and Sing Sing would have been my pick. I also, if you haven't seen The Apprentice with Sebastian Stan playing Donald Trump.
I love that.
That's he literally transformed himself. He did not get enough credit through the year.
That was amazing acting.
Yeah. And then also Mikey Madison, excuse me, winning for Anora was something I was not expecting. I thought that was Demi Moore's award to lose, which weirdly, her winning is basically the entire plot of The Substance. No surprise in Best Actor, Kieran Culkin was the favorite. No surprise in Best Actress with Zoe Saldana.
Fair, too.
Best Writing, I really had a problem with because, again, I like Honora. I think it's a great movie. I'm not going to watch it again. The one that I could not stop watching, even though it's so disturbing, is The Substance. It just hooked me, and it was so original. I'm sorry, but like, I
went back and watched that again.
And Coralie Farragut.
I think it was more disturbing the second time.
Yeah, Honora, again, I love it. It's one of the better movies of the year. My issue with Honora is, again, it's Pretty Woman, set in 2025, and I mean, Pretty Woman, Julia Roberts is a sex worker in this. Mikey Madison is a sex worker. Like it's instead of Richard Gere, now you've got some Russian oligarchs. 20-something son. Yeah.
And it is kind of the same thing.
No surprise again on Best Writing. I thought Conclave was the one that would win. I was very surprised with Best Animated Feature Film. I thought Flow has gotten a lot of praise. Having that be the one that wins I thought that was, to me, the Wild Robots to lose.
Yeah.
I was very happy with I'm Still Here.
I was happy Flo was nominated, but I was surprised to see it beat The Wild Robots.
I was very happy that I'm Still Here won the Best International Feature Film instead of Emilia Perez. I don't have the Emilia Perez hate that a lot of people do. Most of the hate for that is being generated from people showing like 2 or 3 different clips.
Yeah.
I would say, go watch it before when you want to lay judgment.
I liked it, but I didn't get the
hype.
The hype.
Yeah, I agree with that. Really everything else. So what I was going to say, here's my little tip, Andy's pro tip. When you if you want to win your Oscar group, you've got to knock out, you've really got to get Best Documentary Short Film, Best Live Action Short Film, and Best Animated Short Film. That's 3. If you could get those right, you know what I mean? You can lose some other categories and be okay.
You're still winning.
Yeah, if you lose those 3, you're on a decline. I've got as close some years. There's usually, I think, 23 categories. I've gotten as close as like 17 or 18 I've won before. I don't think I've ever got more than that.
You got 18 categories, right?
Yeah, not this year, though. This year I tanked. I got 13. You know who beat me this year?
Surprising.
I'm just going to shout it out on the radio. My now married daughter, Emma Jean Morgan Roberts. She's probably
she beat you.
Why did you say my full name on the radio?
She beat Movie
by
Boy.
1. Or 1 or 2. I got. You know what? I tipped my hat to her. She picked. She got some right that I did not get.
Bet she cheated.
Also, can we talk about?
Is she listening? I'll bet she cheated.
Yeah, she did cheat. Emma, you cheated.
Emma.
You cheated. I don't know how you saw.
753-5868. Confess, Emma.
That's right. She did win. So she went home. We have a little Oscar statue that if you win, you keep it. It's been in my office collecting dust for 6 years.
You guys are fancy. The trophy that gets passed around my family is a very damaged dashboard hula girl that's been super glued onto a big wooden.
We bought this
2x4 that used to have nails.
We bought this last year. We bought it at when we went in 2023. We went to Los Angeles to go to Disneyland, and we went to the Academy Awards Museum in Los Angeles. Which, by the way, if you are a cinephile, I can't recommend that enough.
I have a story.
So cool.
I have a story along these lines, though. So I started watching a documentary on Mann's Chinese theater.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And that led, it's complicated to explain, but that led me at a certain point, and it's already, I think, like 10 o'clock at night, and that led me to a collection of YouTube videos on behind-the-scenes Disney stuff, not Disney movies, the park.
The park, which is actually really cool.
Going behind the scenes, until about 1 a.m., and you have to work at 7. That was a rabbit hole I never intended to go down, and I could not get myself out of it. And then the next video would pop up, and then at a certain point, I'm watching the same people who are doing these behind the rides. Behind the rides stuff is amazing, by the way.
Oh, I 100% agree.
Technical side of what's going on,
and also watch the Imagineering story. It's very
that's
cool.
on
Disney Plus,
right?
Yeah.
I did see that one too. The YouTube videos are just amazing. And then they start to get into behind famous food at Disneyland and certain restaurants.
Well, Disneyland used to just be carnival food.
Yeah.
And now
it's fancy.
Well, the food's an attraction.
Yeah. And some of the things that go into some of the, and I'm watching that, and then suddenly, same YouTuber still at this point. Then suddenly I'm watching Disney Cheats.
Yeah.
Like everything from quick shortcuts through the park to certain things so you can avoid, but also like, this was interesting. So there's this thing called rope dropping at Disneyland. Where you show up before everyone else does, basically.
At the very front of the line.
Yeah, there's like this half-hour window between...
Those are the least funnest people to be with.
Yeah, because I would have guessed, if you're taking Disneyland that seriously, probably not
I'm
a good
say
time
this,
to
and
hang
I
out
don't
with.
want to make anybody mad because I love my sister-in-law, but her and my wife, when we go to Disneyland...
Is she that?
They're at the front of the rope, and then they're like, guys, hurry, we got to get to Star Wars Land. And I'm just like lugging in the back like, I didn't want to sweat today, you know?
That's funny. See, I could never... I would just be like, oh, we didn't get to ride it.
Yeah.
So I learned...
I'm like, what was the extra price we could have paid for the front of the line?
At a certain point, I catch myself. There's this point where he's very seriously explaining you don't ever want to rope drop the Star Wars Land stuff because those nerds know what they're doing. And so rope dropping doesn't do you any good there because you'll show up and there's still a 30-minute line already because they got there at 5 in the morning to wait for the gate to open because that's how serious the Star Wars fans are. So he was pointing out, go rope drop something else, come back to Star Wars Land when everybody gets hot and tired.
Yeah, I agree.
At like 1 in the afternoon.
And before you do that...
And I'm watching this thinking, that is so cool. And then I think, no, why do I care? Like, I'm not even going to Disneyland anytime soon.
But before you do that...
broke the rabbit hole and I went to bed.
Before you do that, make sure to go see Good Times with Mr. Lincoln, that animatronic show, and... Get some AC.
It's creepy.
Put your feet up. Hey, you know, actually, this is funny that you bring up Disneyland because this ties into the last thing I wanted to say about the Oscars.
Okay.
So, you know, everyone's like, man, Disneyland's so expensive. Disney, just in general, going to the parks is so expensive.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what makes me laugh is that's true, but like there's a billion people there, right?
Yeah.
And so I know how analytics work. I know how data works. Somebody, you know, over at Disney Corp is looking at it going, you know, everyone, like the social media people are like, it's too expensive. And he's like, but the numbers don't lie. Like people are flocking here, right?
Yeah, it hasn't hurt them.
Yeah. So what it does is it ends up, they're like, maybe we should raise the price again. You know, if
what can we get away with?
It's just
here?
touching the burner. And that's the one thing I'm a little disappointed about with the Oscars this year is, so this year the viewership was up 1% from last year.
Really?
It was a 5-year high though.
Wow.
And I guarantee you that somebody in Oscar, you know, Oscar control, is latched on to those two stats, and next year is going to be something insufferable.
Yeah,
it's just going to be, you know,
I would agree.
I wouldn't be surprised if they stick with the same host, but like. Yeah, I would say, you know what, the other thing, too.
It didn't grow enough this year.
I loved the way they opened it. I thought Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo, that the singing from Wicked was just so amazing.
Got everybody on their feet.
Yeah, I thought
early.
Conan, his leadoff was great. I thought the show dipped a little bit with the I won't waste time garbage. And then when we were waiting for like another like big musical number, I thought the Bond stuff fell flat. I thought the Quincy Jones tribute of all the things to do to sing the song from The Wiz, like that's the one. That was just seemed weird.
A surprise.
Yeah, it seemed weird. And then the other one was
for the 5 people.
And look at the last 2 years, right? The last 2 years. I mean, last year you had not last year, or was it last year? You had Ryan Gosling doing I'm Just Ken, which
was funny.
It blew off, you know. And then you also had Billie Eilish doing What Was I Made For, which was really tender and beautiful.
Yeah, like a different version of it, too.
Yeah, and so I just felt like, I don't know who put it together, but I thought the mid part of the Oscars really just kind of
dropped the ball and
splatted a little bit.
Stage entertainment, but
anyhow, and there were some other technical things. Boy, they made some goofs throughout the telecast.
A lot of mic problems.
There were some cutaway problems.
Were the person still talking?
Yeah, or like they're
to someone else.
Yeah, and then like they're throwing up the side thing. I was like, boy, that didn't work.
Like, the interns are running the show.
Yeah, somebody's over there like, Bob, wipe.
That is,
yeah. I didn't think it worked out so well. But again, just fine. I wish they would have done a longer Gene Hackman tribute. I felt like Gene Hackman deserved a little bit more than just his face.
Speaking of that,
in the in memoriam,
has everyone seen the latest news on this from today?
From my understanding, from today, is he died of heart disease and Alzheimer's a week after his wife.
Yeah, so apparently she died of hantavirus.
Yeah, what was that about?
I mean, cleaning out an old shed or something. I don't know, but it sounds like so she died of hantavirus. And he has his Alzheimer's was so advanced he didn't know this, he didn't understand this, and so he just stayed in bed
and then died
and died of heart disease. A week later.
Why did their dog die? Just because
I don't know. I'm assuming starvation, which is
because it said he was found in a mudroom off the kitchen. And it appeared that they'd both fallen off the floor, right? Because, she was found dead on the bathroom floor.
Yeah.
There was pills on the countertop, but it was a thyroid medication that was prescribed. Yeah. And then my understanding is he was found in like a mudroom off the kitchen. And then there was a dead dog found in a closet near her body. But then there was 2 other dogs roaming the property. So I don't know.
It's really strange, but
yeah, it's just a real sad end to.
Yeah, a guy that I always kind of liked.
And I don't think again, it's just
best villain in a Superman movie.
Well, that you see poor Harrison Ford. He was supposed to present, and then he had to back out like the day of because he got shingles.
Yeah. Which there's a vaccine for, Harrison.
Yeah.
What are you thinking at your advanced age?
That's right.
Not getting that.
Yeah, he bowed out for shingles. I can't. That does not sound.
I guess you could still get it with the vaccine. It just lowers the odds.
Yeah, it does. But no, anyway, again, great. You know what I love? I love the reset every year because now I'm like, what does this year have to give us? Like, what do we have? And great segue here because I know we got to go to a break here in a minute. When we come back, we got to talk about Mickey 17 because Mickey 17 is the first legitimate, what I would say, consumable for all audiences Oscar movie.
Really?
To hit theaters yet this year.
I'm excited to hear about that.
Yeah, because I mean,
this is
we've got to learn how to pronounce the director's name before we come back. Because
Bong Joon-ho.
I'm hearing it. It's actually not Bong.
Really?
Yeah.
How about this? From the director of Parasite.
Yes. Which, again, Parasite is
Mickey
not...
17.
Parasite is not I would say, a movie for everybody. It's not. It's one of those ones where people go...
But you're saying this one is?
Yeah, and he did Okja, and he did Snowpiercer.
Snowpiercer was so good.
Yeah, and he did The Host back in 2006.
I forgot about that. The Korean... horror
Squid movie.
Yeah. Oh, that was good. I forgot that was him.
But Snowpiercer kind of
have to go to
is what put him on the map, like bigger, from a bigger standpoint.
Yeah. Chris Evans.
And then he obviously won for Parasite. And Parasite's a great movie, but it's not for everybody. Mickey 17 is definitely for everybody. And
I'm excited.
I got some things to say about it.
All right. Mickey 17 is in theaters here in Logan, by the way, playing at both the South and the North, if that's how you want to refer to them, Megaplex theaters. And we'll be back here what Andy has to say about Mickey 17 right after this look at the news with KVNU's Will Feel Right.
Do these have speakers on?
Well, thank you, Jason. News from Utah State. New head football coach Bronco Mendenhall earlier today announcing that spring practice for the team will be coming up later this month, but that practices will be closed to the public. Now, a press release from USU Athletics noted that all practices will be closed and Utah State will not be holding a spring game this year. Now, fans will still have the opportunity to watch the team and interact with players during their annual football family fun day that'll be coming up in August. But Coach Bronco Mendenhall is saying that after careful consideration, he had reluctantly decided to close all spring practices and not hold the annual spring game. He went on to say that his primary intent is to both protect and retain their current roster and to keep their schemes and strategies unknown from their opponents for as long as possible. Meanwhile, in other news from Utah State, last October, the university released its year-in-review publication, which had featured Elizabeth Cantwell's first year as president. Now, that report had touched on 5 pillars of President Cantwell's strategic framework for USU's future. Now, fast forward to this week and the school's announcement of a project to redesign and strengthen USU's statewide system to better serve the state. Now, yesterday's announcement appears to be the embodiment of Cantwell's third pillar, which is expanding the statewide enterprise. Now, Ken White, who's vice president of USU's statewide enterprise, said the idea is to expand educational pathways to empower individuals to thrive wherever they are, thus building a stronger and more agile university together. Now, it'll be a 4-phase redesign process, first of discovering, then designing, developing, and delivering, all within a January to August timeline. And a 6-vehicle crash caused quite a pileup in Davis County yesterday morning and is being blamed on weather, speed, and drivers following too close to each other. Now, according to the Utah Highway Patrol's Lieutenant Cameron Roden, the crash happened in a construction zone of southbound I-15 near Farmington. It was raining at the time, and there was standing water on the roads. Initially, a flatbed tow truck rear-ended a Toyota Corolla and a Jeep Compass that had slowed down for traffic in front of them. Now then, a Dodge Ram rear-ended the tow truck, followed by a box truck rear-ending the Ram, and then a semi-truck rear-ended the box truck. In all, 3 people were transported to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Now, troopers are attributing the crash to speed and following too close for conditions. Well, it's been a gorgeous afternoon as we're going to see clear skies heading into the overnight hours as temperatures will be down into the high teens to low 20s. Clouds will continue to clear out of the area, and that's going to leave us with sunny skies for the weekend as temperatures tomorrow are going to be about 41 for our high, then high 40s for Sunday, low 50s for Monday. And, of course, it'll be a great time to start talking about gardening and yard work. Coming up tomorrow morning, the KVNU Garden Show is back. Mark Anderson will be joining me in the studio, taking your calls on all things yard, gardening, lawn work, and more. That's coming up tomorrow from 8 to 9 here on KVNU. And I'm Will Feelwright with your KVNU News Update.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. Causes of death for Gene Hackman and his wife are released in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
The cause of death for Mr. Gene Hackman, aged 95 years, is hypertensive and atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease with Alzheimer's disease as a significant contributory factor.
New Mexico's chief medical officer, Dr. Heather Jarrell, says Hackman's wife, Betsy, died days before he did of hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, a virus spread by mice or rats. For killing his girlfriend's parents with a baseball bat, Brad Sigmund today in South Carolina was the first person in the U.S. to be executed by firing squad in 15 years. Rolling out new economic programs to help protect Canadian businesses from U.S. tariffs. Canada's government, the tariffs have been postponed. President Trump opened the first of its kind crypto summit at the White House, pushing the creation of a federal Bitcoin reserve. This is ABC News.
Hi, I'm Wendy, co-founder of Bell Sculpt. I know what it's like to feel uncomfortable in your own skin, worrying about how you look, feeling drained, and just not like yourself. Hormone changes, pregnancy, or aging can lead to weight gain and challenges that aren't your fault. That's why I believe so strongly in what we do at Bell Sculpt. I've had a procedure myself, and it transformed more than just my shape. It boosted my energy, metabolism, and confidence. If you're ready to feel like yourself again, Bell Sculpt is here to help. Book your free consultation at bellsculpt.fm.
As the original tax experts, H&R Block puts 70 years of tax knowledge to work for you, guaranteeing 100% accuracy and your max refund or your money back. Can those other tax guys up the street say the same? Walk in or make an appointment today and get the expertise you need this tax season at H&R Block in Logan. Call 752-1651 or download the H&R Block app and see for yourself why it's better with Block. All tax situations are different. Not everyone gets a refund. Limitations apply. See hrblock.com/guarantees.
I'm Larry Gelwicks, the getaway guru with Morris, Columbus Travel, and Royal Caribbean Cruise Line. The Quantum of the Seas cruise ship is coming to the West Coast with new Mexican Riviera itineraries sailing from Los Angeles. Enjoy huge discounts off your cruise fare when you book your next Royal Caribbean cruise with Morris, Columbus Travel.
Come on and get away, Morris Columbus.
Hi, this is Gordon Deal. Monday on This Morning, America's First News. In the heart of Trump country, voters widely approve of his first 6 weeks in office. Hear what voters in Montague County, Texas are saying. Also, another month of scrambling is in the works for the car industry after a tariff pause. What's that mean for shoppers who need new wheels? And how to avoid doom spending over concerns about tariffs. Monday on This Morning, America's First News. Monday morning from 4 to 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM.
Nothing but a slow glowing dream that your fear seems to hide.
Welcome back to the For the People Movie Show with Andy Morgan joining us here, talking, well, Oscars recap and reacts there before the news. Now, moving on to this week's review. And I'm really intrigued by this, Andy, because I didn't think the director we're talking about here, who we learned during the break, his name is pronounced Bong Joon-ho.
Bong. It's not. So it looks like Bong, right? Like,
yeah, it looks like Bong Joon-ho,
but it's Bong. It's more of like a O than a Ba, like okay. Bong. They said it's not like you're smoking a bong. It's Bong Joon-ho. So the last part's right. But anyway.
But then we decided we would just refer to him heretofore as
director
of Parasite.
Yeah.
And the host. If you haven't seen The Host, that's great.
So I didn't realize this, but Mickey 7 is an actual... So the movie Mickey 7 comes out. It's wide in theaters today. Mickey 7 is a 2022 science fiction novel by an author by the name of Edward Ashton.
So how do we get to Mickey 17? Is it related, or
I think it was, filmmaker liberty, or filmmaker, taking the source material. It's based on it. But basically,
it is based on the Mickey 7 book.
It is very, very
from a long time ago.
I don't know how I don't know what I would call this. I think science fiction dark comedy is probably what I would call this.
It starts with a scene of him walking into this, sci-fi looking place, and he's apparently there to take a job, and he fills out the application, or he has to sign the work agreement, and he notices on the work agreement that he is described as an expendable worker.
Yeah, the trailer kind of plays with that a little bit. Basically,
and then he gets his hand cut off.
The plot is he's, I don't know what year it is. It's way in the future. The Earth's a mess, There's one scene, and it's just so funny how they play it off because they don't really focus on it. You just hear things in the background.
Really?
And they're inside this building, and,
Man, it kind of looks like Robert Pattinson gets beat up a little bit in this one.
Mark Ruffalo plays this politician called Kenneth Marshall, and he is basically like an amalgamation of, I don't think they meant this on purpose, but just now, where we are today on March 7th, he feels like in this amalgamation of like Elon Musk and Donald Trump, Anyway, they want to. He's in a lot of. Nobody likes him. He's lost all of his elections. He's got some weird ideas, and he has a group of people that follow him. They're like the Marshallites. Anyhow, and they all wear the little hats and stuff.
People have seen it said he's an absolute jerk. Like you just can't stand.
Yeah,
the guy.
I honestly love Mark Ruffalo as an actor, and I was like. I just wanted to punch him in the face the whole movie. Oh, which is good because he's doing good. He's acting really well. But anyhow, long story short, Mickey and his friend, played by Stephen Yeun, his friend Timo, they decide they want to open a macaroon. What is it? The macaroon I don't know, they're the little desserts. They want to open a restaurant for those. It fails, and the loan shark that loaned him the money wants it back, and he likes to cut people up and murder them, when they don't pay. So they decide to go on this planetary trip, right? And Mickey has and Timo, his friend, is a pilot, so he gets a job as a pilot, and Mickey has no skills whatsoever. So he's just like, he wants to go, he wants to get off, so he just checks the expendable box, and the lady's like, do you know what you're checking? He's like, yep. And then there's the line, it's in the trailer, but it's also in the movie. He's like, I guess I should have read the fine print, Anyway, they get on this.
Is this counting? So the 17, this is counting down from thousands of numbers, as I understand it.
No.
Not counting up?
It counts up.
Okay.
So the one that you're introduced to at the beginning, it signs up, is Mickey, the first Mickey.
Okay.
And what ends up happening is they designed, and they do some backstory about this midway through the movie, but they designed this basically technology that you could reprint yourself and upload all the memories and all that kind of stuff. And they're like, weirdly, a serial killer designed it. It shows this guy basically made like multiple copies of himself, and he always had an alibi. Like, people are like, you killed this guy, and he's like, I've been here the whole time, that kind of thing.
That is, in the trailer along those lines, there's a mugshot moment of three of the same guy. Alan Manikova, number 1, number 2. That sort of made me laugh.
That's the guy.
Okay.
They call it multiples. Multiples is illegal. You can't do that.
Oh, so you can't be two of you at the same time.
It's against the law, yeah.
Okay.
And so that's where the kind of the plot comes into Mickey 17 is, they take this spaceship out to this planet. I don't even remember what it's called. It doesn't really matter, but it's this basically, it's Marshall, again, Mark Ruffalo's character, they call it Nilfheim. And they get out there, and it's funny because he keeps saying, the church wants, the corporation wants us. So you get that it's kind of a cult, a little weird. Toni Collette shows up as his wife. She does
corporation.
She does very well. Just a lot of great acting. But what's awesome is Robert Pattinson again is really the standout here. Playing himself is this Mickey character that keeps getting reprinted,
with zero facial expressions ever.
Well,
at least in the trailer,
it ends up being something a little bit like Multiplicity. If you remember that movie with Michael Keaton, is Robert Pattinson. And again, this isn't really a spoiler, but at some point he has to play two versions of himself. One that's just a little bit crankier than the other, who's like, what is wrong with you? Like,
that's kind of actually sort of spelled out in the trailer.
Yeah. And it just really plays out. Honestly, the movie was an absolute delight. There is a scene in the middle of the movie where Mickey is invited. He wins a lottery one day that he gets to have dinner with Marshall and Marshall's wife. So Mark Ruffalo and Toni Collette. And oh my gosh, I thought I was literally dying laughing in that. Again, very, very consumable film for a wider audience.
Really?
Yeah, it is R-rated. There is violence and some swearing. There's some, I think there's some like sexual situations and things like that. But otherwise, it's really funny. I know it's March and we're a year away from next year's Oscars, but I can tell you right now that unless there's some, monumental shift between, in performances, he is on my best actor list.
Really?
I mean, there's no way he can be. It's
that's very cool
to think that this is the same guy that was like, hang on, Spider Monkey in Twilight. But anybody that's watched his career, over the last,
he's done some good stuff.
Yeah, over the last 10 years knows that Pattinson, I think he's almost 40. I think he's 38.
I was going to ask.
He's not, he's not the same guy that, that he was. I mean, again, I know he was in Harry Potter and all that, but I mean, I want to say, starting, I think, really, truly right around Good Time in 2017, which is
I forgot about that one.
That's a Safdie brothers movie.
Yeah.
Good Time, High Life, The Lighthouse. I mean, this guy is just Tenet, obviously. I know you saw him in the Netflix, was it The Devil All the Time, which he was really creepy in that.
Yeah, that was really creepy. He plays I can't spoil it.
Yeah.
He plays a preacher.
Yeah, he's great in the Batman. Obviously, I thought he was a great take on the Batman. Mickey 17's great. And then his next 3 movies, in 2026, he's in The Odyssey, which is Christopher Nolan's next movie. And that's
2026.
And that's based on the, eponymous epic poem by Mr. Homer, not Homer Simpson. And it also has Matt Damon. He has a couple other projects that I don't know. There's one called Die My Love. It's a comedy horror film, and it's Lynn Ramsey.
I was reading about this one.
Lynn Ramsey's the one that did We Need to Talk About Kevin.
Yeah.
So
that when I saw that and thought comedy horror film, I'm nervous about that one, really. Can you, without spoiling anything, can you tell me who's in the giant pigeon costume in Mickey 17?
No one of consequence.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That part of the trailer, the 2 parts of the trailer that made me laugh out loud, watching with the sound off here in the studio because I hadn't before the show.
Yeah.
When he kind of flops out of the CT scan machine or whatever it is, he just kind of comes out head first and sort of flops out onto the floor. That made me laugh, and then the pigeon costume. I don't know why. Just got a chuckle out of me.
To play Mickey and then to also play Mickey 17 and Mickey 18 is just. It ends up becoming one of my favorite parts of the movie, and it's great even before that. He's just.
This looks cool.
I mean, this is the guy that played Batman, and the whole time I'm watching this, I'm just thinking he's a cowering, just doofus. He's like a skinny Lenny from Mice and Men. He's just so
listening to the
dorky, but
maudlin. Alice in Chains' greatest hit.
He's great. He's great. I can't recommend it enough.
Very cool.
And actually, the screening I was in, I was really surprised with how packed it was.
Really?
Yeah, it was. Cool. I was impressed.
Yeah, because this hasn't gotten aggressive marketing. Some trailers here and there, but I don't think I've even seen one on TV. Just online.
Yeah, no, but it's got a little bit of. But it did have a $118 million budget, so
it's got some cool special effects from the scenes I've seen. In the trailer
I would definitely put it as it'll go down as one of the It's a great sci-fi film. I mean, I know it's a comedy as well, but I would definitely.
I'm impressed.
It'll be on. It would take a lot to move it off my list.
Now, it's interesting. This actually premiered in limited theaters January 31st, I was reading, and then they paused it.
I was not aware of that.
But I can't find a reason why. But maybe it was just to do post-Oscars. All right. For the People Movie Show with Andy Morgan continues right after this.
Hey golfers, are you ready for the golf season? Birch Creek's Punch Passes are on sale at the spring sale price, currently at a $20 discount, and are on sale through March 31st. Visit birchcreekgolf.com and purchase your Punch Pass online. Birch Creek's Punch Passes never expire and are valid 7 days a week. So if you love golf, call Birch Creek today or visit birchcreekgolf.com and purchase your Punch Pass at the spring sale price. That's Birch Creek Golf Course in Smithfield.
Did you know Beehive Grill does catering? They're your best bet for quality dishes at your location. If you're a business needing a luncheon, a school wanting a tasty dinner, or a team looking for meals for an event, Beehive Pub and Grill has what you want. Call now or go to their website for more information and to set up your custom menu. Beehive Pub and Grill, your local catering source.
What were you doing 52 years ago? Intermountain Cooling opened 52 years ago to take care of your vehicle's heating and cooling needs. To celebrate their anniversary, Intermountain Cooling is offering a $52 AC service special for your vehicle. They'll perform a total air conditioning system inspection, and if they find problems, ICS will provide you with an estimate for the repairs. Mention this radio spot to get the anniversary deal and save over $40. Intermountain Cooling, 752-6614.
Coming up on the Monday edition of the Clay and Buck Show, we'll dive into the next slew of major policy decisions coming down from Trump world. We know the White House has been very busy in month one. Month two, not letting up at all. More coming on the border, plus trying to get Putin and Zelensky to the negotiating table to end that war over there. We'll talk about that and much more coming up on Clay and Buck.
10 to 1 on News Talk KVNU, 102 FM and 610 AM.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People movie show. Big thumbs up from Andy for Mickey17. Andy saying that Robert Pattinson's acting in this is his first, if he got to nominate for Best Actor for the 2026
Straight up.
Oscars. And is that, so that's the only new one this week. Oh, no, we've got In the Lost Lands with Dave Bautista and...
Yeah, that's a George R.R. Martin thing, but that I don't think that's playing here. Next week, though, there is...
I was kind of mad when I saw on there from the...
Next week, there's a couple new movies hitting theaters. There's Black Bag, which is Pierce Brosnan, Michael Fassbender, Cate Blanchett, spy kind of movie. Written by David Keb. I think it's Keb. I'm going to mess that up.
Yeah.
And then directed by Steven Soderbergh. So that should be good. And then Novocaine, which is Jack Quaid, who's kind of the new, like, hey, let's do Jack. It's the Jack Quaid year. And he's honestly kind of playing, it seems like his character from The Boys, but this guy that just can't feel pain. And so he ends up becoming kind of like a little bit of a, I don't want to say superhero. But farther out, if you're wondering what else is coming in March, after next week with, Black Bag and Novocaine, the week of March 21st, the two big nights are the two big nights I'm reading. The two big movies are the Alto Nights. That's the Robert De Niro playing two different people as Snow White, which is supposedly controversial to incels. And then March 28th, is the new Jason Statham movie, A Working Man. Everybody likes watching shows where he beats people up.
Yeah.
And a scary movie, The Woman in the Yard, also opens up.
I saw the trailer for that last night, and I'm uncomfortable.
It's freaky.
I saw Heretic, finally, too. I was slow on that one. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
On the streaming services for Marvel fans, we should at least mention this. Daredevil Born Again.
Yeah.
They brought him back.
Every Tuesday. There's 2-episode premiere, and then every Tuesday after that.
Have you watched any of it yet?
I watched the first episode. I'm going to watch the second tonight. I didn't watch the other series, though.
I have to finish the other series first. I'm OCD that way, but I'm paused in the middle.